and welcome to this week's edition of Think Big. I'm your host, Akia Garnett. I'm so excited because I am joined in the studio by such an influencer in social media marketing. You're going to learn a tremendous amount of information tonight. Her name is TC Cooper, and she's done a lot of things in her career. She's an attorney. That's one thing, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. She is a social media influencer that has built an incredible following, from Twitter to Instagram to every single social media network you can think of. She's there, and she continues to put out information that's packaged in a way that makes it so easy for entrepreneurs and small business owners to increase their influence in whatever it is that they're doing. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining me on Think Big this week. TC, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for inviting me. I am excited about being here live with you.
Awesome. You know, you're all over the place, especially on Periscope. And
oh, yes.
yeah,
I love Periscope.
I know. How often are you on anyways?
How often? I am on Periscope now about 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week. When it started, I was on every day.
Yeah.
But I've pared it back just a little bit. It is one of my favorite social networks. I love it.
So how did you find yourself in social media in the first place?
That's a great question. So let's say 10 years ago, I used to do a lot of, and I still do, pro bono work, legal work for small businesses, helping them get established and kind of set themselves up. And in that process, I found that a lot of times the clients that I would work with would also need help getting clients. Yeah. So it's not just setting their businesses up. It was how do they then attract the clients that they need to work with. And so at this time, social media was just kind of getting started, and I discovered it was a great way for people to establish their brands and attract ideal clients and share value. And I started helping those clients, answering questions primarily. Answering questions, and then discovered, this is really a business that I can evolve and help more people.
Yeah,
and so
I mean,
that's how we got started.
It's evolved into something that's so huge for you. I mean, you have so many different tools. Before any of my guests come on, I have to research them, in depth, to make sure that I understand all the latest things that they're working on. So we can talk about some of those things. And you probably have about a dozen websites out there that all position you in different ways, based on the different things that you do in your career and your brand. I just think that's amazing.
Oh, thank you very much. We do. I make full use of social media. One of the things that my company, Upward Action, does, we are an online publisher, and so we have a couple of projects, divisions of the company where we serve different audiences. So one of the things I help my clients do is get really clear about their target market, get clear about their ideal clients, so that they're serving those ideal clients. Now, in doing that, you might find that you expand your business, you expand your brand. And so we've done that at Upward Action. And so if you look around, you'll see that we own different web properties, and those web properties have a purpose. They serve a particular audience. They provide for the needs of that audience.
And, just before we get into some of the technicalities associated with social media marketing and some of the tools that you use and that you help others use, and the tools that you use and help others use, I wanted to talk about how personable you make the experience of social media when you're on it every day. I mean, you really are talking one-on-one to people. It could be 1 to 1,000 or so, but you're just up close and personal and giving them insights into who you are, whether it's in the morning or afternoon or evening. And this is a tactic that many people that are on social media are already using, but you've found a way to really monetize that and really magnify your brand over social media. How have you done that?
Because you actually said a key point, talking to one person, one to many. And so social media really is about communicating and engaging, right? It's not about just sharing information, like just kind of putting things out and hoping that they stick or being kind of, this just producer of content. It's about engagement. It's about being helpful. It's about adding value. So regardless of the social network that I'm on or that someone on my team is on, our goal is to really connect with people who need information to make sure that what we're sharing is helpful to people. And so if I show up in a live video like I do on Periscope, I'm really talking to individuals. I don't see myself as just broadcasting out, information, but I'm communicating with people. People are communicating back. We take questions. People send me DMs and Facebook inbox messages all the time, and I respond to those. Sometimes I can't respond one-on-one, but I can respond on a broadcast, or I can respond in a tweet. And so I really see social media, and I help my clients do that as well, see social media as a way to really build relationships. And I built amazing relationships using social networks.
And do you think that when Periscope was first, introduced into the scene, that was a game changer in many ways.
Absolutely.
And, there are other blobs and all those other kinds of things that are out there like that. But Facebook Live, kind of picked up where Periscope just left off, if you will, and they're just continuing to move people from their sofas to someone else's computer screen. How are you helping people get acclimated to all the tools and features that are available on Facebook Live?
Well, I love that. And it's interesting that you mentioned that. So Periscope is my first love, and I love Periscope. I also enjoy Facebook Live too, and I find these tools helpful in different ways. Periscope is an amazing way to have new people find you, have new people discover your work. If you're using hashtags, for example, in your titles, if you title your scopes appropriately, people who use Twitter will find you, and you can build your audience that way. Facebook is really great, I found, for myself, for my clients, for deepening the relationship with people who are already exposed to you or have a connection to you in some way. And so you can use the tools strategically in different ways. I think it's important to understand the strengths of each one of the tools so that you are showing up in a way that allows you to build your brand, expand your brand, serve more people, bring more people into your fold. Now, what's key, and just in case we don't get to talk about it, I want to make sure that I mention it now. Social networks, Periscope, Facebook Live, it's easy to fall into just sharing on these networks because it's great. You show up and you share. With these networks, with the opportunity to be personable, have people really connect with you, you have to move them off of that platform. Right? So I want the viewers, people who are listening, to be sure that when you show up sharing great information, get people into your email list. That's where you can really deepen the relationship. You can engage folks, have them feel comfortable with you, have them get to know you on a live broadcast, but then you got to follow up with them.
Exactly. And so for all the different tools and products that you offer through Upward Action, help us put some rationale between all of them, because there are so many great things that when I, am on your site, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know which one I want. They're so great, all of them.
Well, you know what? That is good, but we're going to have to take a look at that because I want people to know exactly what to do. There are different buckets of ways that clients can work with us. We have our online training academies. They're fairly new and they're inspired by Periscope, quite frankly, because once upon a time when I was doing Periscope every day, actually twice a day, the morning sessions were always in-depth teachings. So we do an hour teach, we meaning me, would do an hour teach in the afternoon sometimes or evening. Sometimes I would do that. Sometimes it would be a follow-up. I took those hour-long teachings and put them into training academies.
Sure.
I have a team. We've added checklists and other types of resources to support the learning. So that's one way that people can work.
And how long do those tend to last, those trainings?
They range. So they
are they self-paced?
They are self-paced.
Okay.
We have a Tweeple Impact Academy because I call my people on Twitter.
Now, did you coin that term?
I cannot take credit for coining it. It is a term that I use, that I use it a lot. And so we have our Tweeple Impact Academy. There are like 40 videos in that academy, and they range from like 3-minute videos to just show you how to do something to hour-long teaches, right? So that's what that academy looks like. We have a linked Impact Academy. And so that teaches people how to use LinkedIn. Because of the way the LinkedIn platform works, those training videos are a lot longer. Most of them are 40 minutes. Some of them are like an hour and 20 minutes, and there are less videos there. So they're different. The length of the video will match the topic. My goal in each one of these self-paced, on-demand academies is to provide everything that people need to know in order to master to that subject. And also for people who have teams, to have a way to educate their teams on how to use social networks, a particular social network, to grow their brands. I'll just say this quickly. One of the things that's really important for especially small business owners to know, just because someone knows how to use a social network, it does not mean they know how to leverage that social network so that you are expanding your brand, expanding your influence, and attracting your ideal clients. So it's important that you don't just hire people who know how to use a social network, but you train people on how to actually use that network to grow your businesses. That's what we do in the online academies. So that's one bucket. I also have consulting programs. People can work with me for a quarter or for half a year, and I call them their systems automation, system and automation consulting, and we help people really leverage the power of the internet through creating systems and using tools to automate functions that should be automated. Not everything should be automated, but we help people do that, and we kind of stand with them as they implement the plans that we help them to create. So that's our systems and automation consulting program. Those are the two big ways that folks work with me, work with my company. And I have a team. So people get me, and they also get access to just fantastic support.
Got it. And then for ideal clients, and you've made a point of talking about that, how much time are you seeing people waste?
Oh my gosh.
And I know you probably wouldn't have a real number, maybe something anecdotally, but, what do you see people out there doing that's wrong? And I hate to use the word wrong, because, some people just find their way to their own success when they find it, but we could do it a lot faster if we had, better techniques.
That's exactly right.
What are you seeing?
People spend a lot. I don't have a percentage, but there are a large number of folks who come to work with us, and they've not thought about their ideal client, right? And that's one of the first things that we do. When you come work with Upward Action, we sit down and I ask you, okay, who's your ideal client? We build out an avatar for your ideal client. And sometimes you have multiple avatars, that's fine. But in order to be effective on social media and to maximize your time, right? Our clients are busy, I'm busy, so you don't want to waste time. So to maximize your time, to leverage your work, you need to know who you're speaking to. And so I tell clients all the time, your tweets, your blog posts, your articles, your Periscope broadcasts, your Facebook Live broadcasts, they need to be created with a particular person in mind. Right?
And that's your avatar.
That is the avatar. Now, sometimes people will have multiple avatars. Oftentimes they will. But when you take the time to define each one of those avatars, what you can do is find a similarity. There's always, there should be. And if there's not, then you need to reduce and kind of take a look at the avatar profiles you have. But there's often a common thread. I say often, but it's always a common thread in the avatars who you serve, these ideal client profiles. And so then you create content either for a particular avatar person, and I hate to say avatar, right? Because we give avatars a name.
Sure.
Right? Give it a name. Give that person
Bob
a name.
or Sally
Bob,
or
Cynthia,
Jim, whomever.
Simone, Karen, absolutely. And so you're either writing for that particular person or there's a common thread, and you are writing, speaking, creating content for that thread. When you do that, your content is effective. You're able to be influential in what you're sharing. And influence is simply moving people to an action, whatever that action is, clicking something, signing up for something, purchasing something, whatever that action is. If you're speaking to a particular profile, then you can speak in a way that is compelling. That's really important. And a lot of clients come, they haven't even thought about it. And you have to if you're going to be effective.
And how long would you say it takes for small business owners that you're working with to actually get that, and then get on, switch gears from wherever they were to move in a better direction that's going to help them see some fruits a lot faster?
You know what? For some, not long at all.
That's good.
And sometimes I'll say, and I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. Others, it takes some time, right? It takes some time. So if we have a client that comes in that's used to serving a lot of, sometimes general practitioners are like this, but serving a lot of different types of clients. And so one of the things, so people will ask me, a client will say, well, how do I get started? How do I figure out who my ideal client is? I don't know. So one place to start is, take a look at the clients that you're serving now, right? So let's take a look at those clients that you have had the biggest impact with, that you've done the most good for, you know that your services are in alignment, start there. Now, if you have a lot of different clients, and sometimes people will say, oh, I connect with all of my clients or all of these different types of folks.
Yeah.
And so then it takes a little bit more work, because then we have to then take a look at your business. Okay, let's look at what you offer. Where are you when you're in your brilliance?
Yeah.
Right? And so it depends.
Yeah. You know, social media marketing continues to just change. It evolves every single hour.
Every hour, yes.
Every single hour, there's
Yes.
something new. There's a new automation tool. There's a new site that's in beta. There's just a new product on the market every single day. And I'm going to tell you that I spend hours a week researching. I have to, because there's just something new that's happening that could potentially save me money, help me do something different and faster and better than what I'm currently doing it. But also there's just some new things that may come out that I'm really interested in, or I just like it just because I love social media marketing. How much time are you spending researching what's coming down the pike, and do you like that?
I love it. I love it. I tell you, you know, one of my favorite tools is called Feedly. Do you use Feedly? It's a blog aggregator. And so I start my day by reading Feedly, right? I wake up.
Sure.
Pray,
you do you do. Yeah, sure.
But once I have gotten myself
clean
together,
it up, you know.
right,
Just clean it up.
Clean it up. I read my Feedly account, and so I follow the blogs that I love. That's what keeps me current, and my clients keep me current. Because people will have questions, and they're doing things, and I'm always hunting for a way for them to do something better. Now, we do that within a framework, because you have to be careful, and I know you know this, because there's so many new things that are always happening with social media, so many tools, so many websites. It's easy to chase whatever is new, right? So one of the things that our private clients have, and I teach people how to do this in our academies, we create a structure, right? You have a social marketing plan. And so in that plan, you have objectives. And so whatever tool you are looking at, whatever it is that's coming up, you want to place it in your plan, because it may be something that can help you do something better, or it could be something that could help you do something better, but you're not doing that something, right? So it's not necessarily that useful. So everything kind of goes into the plan. But, you know, I start my day by reading the blogs, my favorite ones, and that's how I stay current.
That's awesome.
And then researching.
I mean, it's just, in the beginning, you know, when social media was really just becoming an idea, you know, everything was free.
Yes.
Everything was free. It was so beautiful. You know, if you wanted to go and try out something, you could do it for free. Now there's a 30-day trial thing. And by the way, you got to put your credit card number in. And if you don't forget to cancel it, you're getting charged. And it's all about money right now. And I'm not, you know, complaining about that, because, you know, the developers and people who spend their time creating all these great things really should be compensated. But what it does, though, is it creates a need for us to be very strategic on those things that we are going to invest in.
Yes.
And heaven forbid we invest in something that really is in beta and may not get out of beta. But, you know, how do you help people make those decisions on what's a practical, really good and well thought out, you know, payment to or something to pursue financial wise, or, you know, pass on and see what's next, or free out there?
You know, it's really about the goals. It's like, what are you doing? What are we trying to accomplish, right? What are your resources? What are your resources with regard to time? Your personal time, you know, do you have a team? Are you willing to hire virtual assistants to do things for you? So the first is looking at your goals, your business goals, objectives, and then looking at your resources. Then tools supplement your resources. So that's how we approach it. And there are a lot of tools that you have to pay for, but there's still a lot of tools for free. So an example would be, two of my favorite tools to use are Zapier and IFTTT, if then that, right? IFTTT is free. Zapier is not. Now, why would you use Zapier when you can do everything on IFTTT?
Sure.
Well, because Zapier will allow you to integrate some of the tasks with a CRM. I use Infusionsoft. And so if you know what you're doing online, and you're sure about, if I'm list building, and so I want things that I'm doing on Eventbrite, or I want other things that I'm doing to be able to help me build my list, then you may pay for a tool, because that tool has a specific purpose, right? And so, but you may not pay for it if you have like some general things that you're testing, because you test for free, and there are a lot of tools you can use. So that's really how we go through deciding what you want to pay for and how much you can afford to pay for a particular tool. It is, how is that tool going to help you increase your impact, your influence, or your income? That's what we do.
Yeah, love it.
We help people increase their impact, expand their influence, and diversify their income. But if we take the increase for the three of those things, how is it going to help you do it? And what do you expect the payoff to be, and how we're gonna test it? We have to measure it, right? Yeah. So if folks Google me, I wrote a planner called the Smart Goal Daily Planner.
Yeah.
That I love. I love it because I use it. I created it because I created it for me. But they're SMART goals, and so I mentioned that here because you have to have SMART goals in your plan, and that includes inserting tools.
Yeah, and I've heard you talk about SMART goals before. Do you want to talk about the acronym of that and what that all means?
Oh, absolutely. So goals should be specific, measurable. Specific meaning you're clear about what the goal is, right? Measurable so that you can measure what it is. Actionable meaning that you are ready to do something with that goal now. Yep. Sometimes people have, and you have the resources to act upon the goal, or you can get the resources pretty easily, right? So it's not a pie in the sky. You need a whole bunch of stuff. Relevant meaning it's tied to your vision, is tied to your big goal, and time bound. It has a deadline.
Sure.
So that's the whole SMART goal. That's what the acronym SMART is for. And so our daily planner is all around these SMART goals. And so when we have clients investing in tools, the tools have to help the SMART goals. And I should say, one of the exercises that I assign to folks when they work with us, and sometimes people hate it and they give me side eyes and all types of things. I have folks list everything that you're paying for right now.
When it comes to social media marketing?
When it comes to social media marketing, when it comes to being online.
Sure.
When it comes to like the online portion of your business, list it out. Write down what you were paying for, write down how much it cost, write down why you bought that tool, and make a check mark if you were using it. And so, it seems like an easy task, but it's not so easy. Sometimes because people just buy things.
Yeah, and they forget that they signed up for that.
Or they get it,
it's just $9 a month.
That's exactly right. And then you find that when I've had clients who come back and they have various things, they're like $5 a month, $9, $15, $20 that do the same things. Yeah. So they're not even maximizing a particular tool because they haven't taken time to see what that tool will do. It's just kind of accumulating things.
So once you help them, I guess, create that list, what do you see that dwindling down to, if you will, on average? Maybe they are able to chop their expenses in half by 50% or so? Yeah.
Like half a lot of times.
I'm sure they're happy about that.
They are. Well, when they write it down, they're like, oh. And so I'm like, no, go look at everything, because people will have like tools and you'll forget that a lot of folks will forget that they have things because it's like a PayPal debit, or maybe they have it on this credit card, it's a debit, and it's like all of these different little things that add up, and people aren't using it. And then let me tell you, here's the other thing that happens, because sometimes people will have an idea of the things that they've invested in, that they plan to use, and then there's the weight that they're not doing something that they should be doing.
Sure.
And a lot of that weight then creates inaction. So I have really smart clients.
So what do you mean they're waiting for something? It's not doing something. You mean that they're not seeing any value from that thing in the short term?
But they're not seeing value because they're not using it.
Got it.
And so then what they have are kind of a mental to-do list of all of the things that they mean to do. So, for example, one of my tools that I love is called Meet Egger. And so Meet Egger is a tool where you can program a lot of different types of content. You can decide where that content will go. There's a library, and the content will distribute on a cycle.
Sure.
Right, so you don't lose it. And we do certain types of content. We program certain types of content using that tool. So an example would be, you would buy that tool and then you'd have in your head, oh, I need to program things into Meet Egger, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to get this other tool because I have 4 things that I need to do, but I don't have time to do it, so now it's on my to-do list. And so then you have another tool because I'm planning to do this, right? And so people come and they're burdened down with all of these things that they're paying for and all of these ideas of things that they should be doing, and they're not doing these things because they've just added all of these tasks
Yeah.
And so then we take a look at, well, what are you doing? Because I get, well, social media is not working for me. I'm spending a lot of money. I'm wasting my time. My clients aren't here. This is not working. And well, it's not working because you're not doing anything. And it is expensive. You are draining your resources because you're paying for all these things that you're not doing anything with.
I mean, and
so we get that sometimes.
And how do you help them determine what a good time plan is, for themselves on a daily or weekly basis? And, I'm sure that you have clients where you all are doing their social for them, but for those that you kind of train or get them all situated with their tools and so forth and kind of let them go, are you giving them any guidelines on how long they should be spending on social?
Well, it's all about goals. It's what are you, it goes back to what are you trying to accomplish? And it's fitting social media marketing into your general marketing plan, your general activities. So how much time you spend will really determine on what you're trying to do and the types of things that you're doing.
Yeah.
The way to cut down the amount of time that people spend on social media is to get organized.
Yep.
So that's one of the big things that we do, right? If you're on Facebook all the time, is your Facebook account organized?
Yeah.
Do you have people, if you have like an open Facebook policy where you have all of these friends, right, people you're friends with, do you have lists established so that you can go and you can monitor feeds based on what you're doing? So, when we're talking about like cutting down time, how much time should you spend? Again, it depends on your resources, your goals. And the more organized you are, the less time you will spend. I don't spend a lot of time actually during my day on social media
promoting your business and so forth.
It's condensed because I have lists for everything. So I go on, I have a purpose, and I know generally where people are who I'm trying to connect with at that sitting, and that's who I connect with, and then I'm done, and I'm doing other things that I need to be doing.
Do you think that the paid advertising is helping folks? Are your clients really pursuing that avenue across Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram? I mean, those are the ones that are providing the greatest outlets for paid advertisement right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I find that Facebook ads are a tremendously helpful way for people to increase their exposure and to really get targeted views on their information, especially when they're doing things like retargeting.
Sure.
So, right, it's all about, so this again, it's like, what are your goals? What do you have? What do you want people to do? Now let's use these tools in a smart way.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to pay for Facebook ads and people are coming to your website, you don't want to lose people who don't do something. So now what are you doing to stay connected to those people? And then how are you going to let Facebook ads kind of help you move people forward based on what they've done, how they've interacted with your content. So Facebook ads have been tremendous. LinkedIn has been great for certain clients, right? Who's your market? What do you
got to be ready for prime time on LinkedIn if you're going to be paying for advertisement.
You have to
gotta
be ready for prime
People
time.
don't have time. They're there for a specific reason.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's the
exactly
online
right.
time for LinkedIn is less than some of the other sites because people are there for a specific reason, a specific connection.
That's exactly right. And if you show up adding value when people are there, you can grow your business tremendously. But if you don't, if you're not clear, you're not focused, you waste your time, you waste the opportunity, and you harm your brand. You harm your brand.
So when it comes to Twitter and paid advertisement, are you finding any value in that?
Not as much. Not as much. I tell you, using hashtags smartly and engaging with influencers and targeted clients, potential clients, is an effective way to use Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, I really love
Twitter.
you
said that Periscope is your first love. Twitter is still my first love.
Is Twitter still your first love?
It is. I can't divorce myself from it. But I diversify, of course. But I mean, I just love Twitter. I think it's a wonderful way to, practice brevity.
This is true.
Gotta cut it down. If you can cut it down and still make something mean something to someone else, and that's amazing. And I love that challenge.
Well, this is true. I mean, Twitter probably comes a strong second, but I love LinkedIn too.
Oh yeah.
So
that's been around. I mean, LinkedIn was LinkedIn before anything else was.
This is true.
LinkedIn was really, and as always, stayed true to that conservative brand that they built, which I really can love and appreciate.
Yep,
and they've made some upgrades recently. It looks pretty good.
They have.
Yeah.
They've made Facebook is having a big influence, huh?
Yeah.
If you take a look at like that, like their chat now, it is very messenger-ish. But yeah, they're making, I think, really great and smart upgrades to LinkedIn. And so for experts, we serve a lot of experts, lawyers, other experts. LinkedIn is a fantastic way to extend your brand because you can share more. You can write, and I tell my clients to do this, write really thoughtful blog posts on the LinkedIn publishing platform and do it in a way where you send people back to your website to get more information. Is really a great tool.
Did you, when you were in school, when you were pursuing law, did you think that you might offer these services now that you didn't?
No clue.
How that evolved?
Well, you know what? That's not complete. Is that true? You know, I had a good time in law school. It's kind of interesting. I went to law school in New York, and I had an opportunity in my third year to work in our nonprofit clinic, which was an extraordinary experience. And my clinic professor also allowed me to do some work with small businesses. This is a time when the empowerment zone, the Harlem Empowerment Zone, was coming around. And so I had an opportunity as a law student to work with local businesses in Harlem. And not all of the work was pure legal work like structure. Some of it was doing some of the things that I'm doing now, except I didn't know that this whole social media marketing, I mean,
it's going to explode the way that it did.
We're talking the late 90s. Did I say that out loud? It was the late 90s. It's just 99. It was like the end of the 90s.
I was born. I was here.
So I guess I had an inkling. It's just evolved. And so this is another thing, like who you are, who you become, they're like pieces like throughout your life. So if I look back even at my life as a big firm lawyer, I did like workshops for small businesses, and mostly they were legal, but you also talk about business development in that.
Because you've seen it come full circle almost.
I have. It's kind of cool.
That's got to be amazing.
How that works.
It's got to be amazing, and you've got a leg up on many attorneys who just don't like business.
Well,
I hate to say don't like, but just it's not the first thing they think about. Especially when they've got cases and clients and
the
court.
law is interesting, right? And so, like, lawyers have rules that we have to consider when using social media. So there is risk, right? So you have to think about advertising and solicitation and attorney-client relationships when you're on social networks and you're sharing. So as I defend my fellow attorneys, which is why I love working with lawyers, and I do training programs. Like I have one that's coming up in May with the DC Bar. They have a day practice 360. I'm so excited about it. I share in that for the past 3 years. But we talk about using social networks, using social marketing, and doing so in a way that allows you to stay within the confines of the rules of professional responsibility. And so, lawyers have a lot to think about with social marketing.
Have you thought of, or are you developing other verticals aside from law in terms of other industries or clients that you're able to support?
Well, we really support experts. So lawyers are a big part of that, but I have a lot of clients who are business consultants, and so they're experts in their fields and they're offering services. The nexus is our brilliance shines through when we're helping people really sell their services and create programs and create processes and systems that allow them to even serve more people, right? Expand those services without necessarily expanding the hours that they need to spend providing the service. And so that's the brilliance. And so the verticals are all in the service industry. So again, lawyers are a big part of it, but also business coaches and consultants, people who've written books and now they want to build consulting businesses around the books that they've written because they're experts in that area. And so they know that more people need their help. We help them help more people.
That's awesome. And when it comes to you having to step back and market your own business, market upward action, do you have to work with, are you in a mastermind or do you work with others who help you kind of see the things that you're too close to?
Absolutely. I have a fantastic mastermind. And I am often working with a coach. So absolutely. And that's important. Like you have to work on your business, right, while you're working in your business. And that's true even as a social media marketing agency and online publisher, we have to have people who are able to see in our blind spots so that we continue to grow and work with folks who have done the things that we're trying to do at Upward Action so that there is a roadmap. And I say a roadmap, you want a guide. we're always innovating, but we're innovating within a structure so that it's clear where we're trying to go, what we're trying to do, and the steps that we need to take to do that. So when we make missteps, it's not we can get back on track.
Yeah. So, and when it comes to all of the different products, and I know we talked about this earlier, but all the different products that you've developed over the years, are you primarily doing those in response to a client saying this is what we need?
Yes.
What percentage of that is coming from you saying, no, I believe that this is what the market needs. I believe that this is going to become necessary, or this is something that I, am interested or vested in, and I want to see if this, will bear some weight in the market.
Everything we do is a result of something that either someone has told me that they need or I see that they need. Mm-hmm. So sometimes folks can't see what they need, but because is why you hire us, right? Because we have a lot of experience, and I've been doing this for a long time. I have a good team. So whatever we develop is from a need that I've seen. Either directly someone has said, TC, do you guys do this?
Yeah.
Can you do this? Or I look and I say, you know what? I can't serve that person this way, but I can see if I created this would serve that need, and so we've done it that way.
And with us talking earlier about being online and then finding ways to increase that in-person experience with the people that you're building those relationships with, what ways are you helping people learn how to do that? Just to kind of unplug, and not unplug from social, but just navigate toward in-person experiences, or moving them toward getting people on their website so that they can sign up for those newsletters and touch them outside of the confines of social marketing.
It's keeping the goals in mind, and realizing that social media marketing really is about developing relationships. And so there's always that goal, and the end goal is to deepen the relationship, and you do that off of the social network. And so it's having people keep that in mind. Why are you on this social network? Why are you sharing this information? Ultimately, what do you want this person to do, and why do you want this person to take that action? Mm-hmm. And when you keep that in mind, then you can stay focused, right, on the actions that you're taking and the things that you're doing.
Right. And when you talk about online publishing, what is that exactly?
So
in my mind, I think I know what that means, but can you clarify that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple of websites that we run, and so we publish people's their stories when folks are sharing. And so one relatively new project is called Mogul Moxie.
Yeah.
And I am so excited about it. Starting tomorrow on our Mogul Moxie network, we're featuring a woman with Moxie every day. And so why we're doing this? Because I know that through stories, people find themselves, people are inspired, people are empowered. And so the online publishing portion is really about sharing people's stories in a way that will inspire other people to do the work that they've been called to do. That's what I like to say, because we've all been called to do a certain work.
Sure.
And so some of the affiliate sites that we have are designed, again, to serve a particular market with information that's helpful to them. And so from a business perspective, they also serve as feeders into our programs. And so Mogul Moxie, I'm so excited about this project because the women who we're showcasing are brilliant, and they are inspiring, and they're sharing their stories. And it also, again, provides a way for advertisers to advertise on that site.
Right.
Some of the advertisers on the site would be our brands.
Yeah.
And so we do that, and we're able to, again, reach a certain group of people by giving them information to enhance their lives.
Awesome. Is that your way of giving back?
Absolutely.
Is that one way?
That is one. That's one way.
I know your faith is important to you.
It is. I mean, another community that we have. I've written a few books.
Yeah, I know.
52.
What's the one that's that one you're talking about? You're about to say it.
Well, there's 52 lessons for Christianpreneurs and 52 prayers for Christianpreneurs. And we serve Christian business owners on our Faith Focus Flow site.
Yeah.
And so that's another place where people who have a desire to write and to create content to serve Christianpreneurs can have their information shared. And so that's what we do on that site. Because my faith, you're right, it is everything to me. It is everything to me.
I see it in your brand. I hear you talking about it. It's always something that you mention in your messaging.
Absolutely.
And are you helping others tap into that authentic ability to be able to share, from that space, because that's not easy for everybody.
Well, I do. I do it intentionally through our Faith Focused Flow brand, and it's a part of who I am. So if you work with me, you get who I am, and a daughter of the King, a woman who loved Jesus is who I am, and so that comes through. And so it's not a preaching of that, but it is a part of who I am. It's a part of the references that I have and the antidotes and the things that people will get. It's just kind of infused. It's infused throughout our brand.
One thing, when I was in business for myself, and I learned that I would never lose a client as a result of my faith. I've never lost an opportunity to serve someone. I've never lost an opportunity to gain a new client. As a matter of fact, my faith and my connection to the Faith Network helped me when it came to business development and others wanting to work along with Christian entrepreneurs. So I applaud you for that. I applaud you for all of that work that you're doing to not only use your talents and gifts when it comes to your ability to understand and apply the law and help others who are understanding and apply the law, but also to work in that vein of your faith as well and help others. And that to me sounds like another vertical. So that sounds like two very strong verticals there. I'm sure they're overlapping too, right?
Well, they do. They overlap, right? They do.
So
and it's about kind of showing up as who you are.
Yeah.
And that is important in social marketing. So we've talked about who I am. I show up as who I am. And so that is one of the key lessons for clients is show up as who you are, right? Offering those services, those programs that you are most brilliant in offering, those things that you've been gifted with. And the people who you are supposed to help will be attracted to you. They can't be attracted to you if you don't show up authentically in who you are.
Right. And so let's go back to that whole concept of the avatars that we were talking about earlier. What does that process look like when you're helping people? Because I know for sure that understanding exactly who your target audience is and all of the things associated with their demographics and psychographics and behavior graphics is a real challenge for people.
It is.
They come up with a great idea and say somebody's going to buy it. Right. And they just take to the airwaves and they start selling it and are disappointed very quickly when they see dim to no results. How do you help them get into that whole concept of avatar creation?
We start from the beginning. It's like, who do you want to buy this? Well, I want everybody to buy it. Well, pick one person. That's what we start. Pick one. Who can this help the most, right? How can it help them the most? So that's their first thing. Okay, so you know who this can help. And if people are like, well, I can help all of these people, I was like, well, you know what? We'll create an avatar for each one of them. And then we'll look for similarities and we'll drop off the ones that don't work. So let's think about this as we're talking to one person at a time. Now, sometimes it is hard to get to that because, recently I had a client and she was like, well, I want a corporate professional. Okay, well, in what profession? Well, all corporate professionals. Well, let's pick one. Let's start with one. Pick one profession, right? So we pick that. And then it really is getting to know that person. And so that's the approach. So like you've picked this person who you want to help. Now let's talk about getting to know that person. And sometimes you can get to know that person based on people you've already served, or oftentimes it's like based on the people who are asking you for help the most. That's another way that I help folks get to that client avatar. Like, who are you always helping? Who's always asking you for help? Who's always needing more? And so now let's write down everything that you know about that person. And then my challenge to clients is to become curious, nosy, right? We might say nosy in the country. I'm from the country. But nosy, curious about that person. So you're always developing the avatar. So it's not a process where you do it and now you're done, right? So this is a person that you're getting to know because you want to continuously serve that person and you're continuously building upon this profile. And as you learn more and you learn by doing, by offering, by sharing, you develop it more. And so then it becomes, for a lot of my clients are competitive, the more competitive people, how can you continuously get a better reaction, more engagement, right? So make it a game for yourself, and that your goal is to continuously get more and more engagement from this particular type of a client.
Yeah, and then for the companies and the customers that you're serving, how long have they been in business, or do they tend to be in business? What's the ideal client and longevity time frame for you?
It depends. So the ideal client is a person who's an established professional. So some of the businesses have been in business. Maybe the longest client, maybe the most mature business is like around 6 or 7 years. In a service business, but we have some clients, especially people who are starting consulting practices, who are launching that, but they're launching it from a platform of being an expert and already having achieved success in that area, and so now they're building something based on success. Our best clients, our ideal clients, the ones that we serve the best, are those who have small teams, or they're willing and they're interested in hiring a team, because in order to really be effective and to build a business that scales and it is sustainable, you can't do it by yourself. Right. And so people will have small teams meaning 1 to 5 people. Who are supporting in various ways, or who are able and willing to hire at least 1 or 2 people to assist in various things.
And they're looking to you to handle their social permanently, or are they looking again for you to train up their staff?
To train up their staff. So primarily we'll get you started. We'll help you develop a plan, and we'll be there to help. To help you kind of start that. We don't have long-term clients where we're running their social media campaigns for an extended period of time. Again, if we do it, we do that for a few clients, but it is for a startup phase, usually no longer than a quarter. Sure. Because by that point, you need to have identified who you're going to bring onto your team, and that's important because you want that person to get to know as much as they can about you, about your clients, about what you're serving, so that they can also have ideas. Yeah. So I'm assuming that you're moving them away from the whole concept of bringing on interns to do that for them. Well, if you bring on interns, you have to train interns. So this is the thing, and this is another reason for creating the academies. Yeah. Because for a small company or a larger company, you're hiring interns, folks who know how to use their savvy with these social networks. We've created a platform, an academy, where people can come in, your interns can come, and they can learn about who are your ideal clients. Let's talk about calls to action, right? Let's talk about diversifying the calls to action so that people are doing different things. Let's be clear about how a particular call to action is going to feed into your sales funnel. Yeah. So we provide a trainings for that, so that interns know what they have an idea.
But isn't it amazing how the market has shifted so much? Whereas today, quite some time ago, there were not any such positions called social media anything. Right. And if you look now at every single organization, there is a social media champion. Exactly and those roles are really combined with the marketeers, and they come in many different ways. And so I just think we've just seen the beginning. It's still, there's still so much room for growth in social media marketing and all the tools that are out there. I just, know that you had something that you also wanted to gift our viewers with.
Absolutely. So one of the programs that I did at the beginning of the year is called 35 Ways to Increase Your Impact, Influence, and Income. And so I'd like to gift that to your viewers. And so we'll make it real easy, real old school. If you email me, if you send me an email with your name and your mobile number and your website URL, then someone from my team will send you the access to this 5-part video series that gives really practical ideas, things that you can implement to increase your impact, influence, and income.
Right. TC, what's your URL?
It is upwardaction.com.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for being on Think Big this week. I really appreciate you being here and just sharing all of your information and knowledge and just bringing all this sunshine. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. We've been friends for quite some time on social, so it's fun to work together, right? We make these relationships come alive.
Absolutely. This is exactly what we've been talking about today. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's edition of Think Big. I'm Akia Garnett, your host. Visit me online at akiagarnett.com. You can also connect with me on social. Lots of tools and tips out there available for you. Take care. See you next time.